Hey everyone, welcome back to ML Works. In this video, we'll be discussing about collaborative filtering in recommendation system, and we'll also implement the same with the help of PyTorch framework. Now, let's understand what is collaborative filtering in the first place. So it basically predicts whether a user will be interested in an item based on the historical preferences of the user and also the broader user community. So here the item could be your book, movie, or a product from e-commerce website. We'll be seeing whether the user has liked that item or not, and based on that we'll be predicting different items to the user. So its core assumption is pretty simple to understand, which basically says that people who agreed in the past will agree in the future as well. So consider if two people have watched a specific movie in the past, and if a similar type of a movie comes in future as well, then there is a very good chance that those two users will like that movie as well. So that's the core assumption of collaborative filtering. Now coming to the core concept and data structure. So the core concept is that it relies on the user interactions rather than the explicit item features like genre or the text description. So for instance, if you have an item like a movie, then there could be features like genre, who is the actor, actress, and there are different details whether it is acted by some specific director. So these are different details of the specific item. So collaborative filtering will not use these features. It will only understand whether a user has liked the movie or not. Basically the user interaction itself. Now coming to the data structure, so collaborative filtering requires us to create a grid of size m cross n, which is the user cross item matrix, where it stores the interaction signal, whether they like the movie or not, whether they rated the movie or not. So that's the interaction signal that will be storing as part of this grid of size m cross n matrix. Now coming to the explicit and implicit feedback, so these interactions could be of different types. For example, there could be explicit feedback like the user could have rated them from 1 to 5, or they could have given thumbs up or down. Okay, that is an explicit feedback given by the user for a specific item. There is also something called as implicit feedback. For example, if you have a video recommendation system, if a user watches a specific video, their watch time will become a feedback. And if there is an ad recommendation system, if a specific user clicks an ad, that becomes a feedback for the system. Similarly, the purchase history for the e-commerce website. So this is how you will be understanding the interaction signal in your recommendation system for collaborative filtering. Now the challenging part is the sparsity challenge, where in a real world system like movie recommendation or a product recommendation, the user can only interact with tiny fraction of total items, which means that they cannot watch all the movies or they cannot buy all the products. So they'll have only tiny fraction of interaction happening with the items. So this will lead to a matrix where 99% of the cells will be empty. So the goal of the CF will be to fill in these missing values. Now coming to the architecture aspect of collaborative filtering is there are two main paradigms. One is memory based CF and there is model based CF. Under memory based CF we have user based CF and item based CF, and in model based CF we have Matrix Factorization, which is SVD, which is singular value decomposition, and there is ALS, which is alternating least square, and there is neural CF, which is using a neural network for building a recommendation system. So when it comes to memory based collaborative filtering, it uses neighborhood methods like finding the distance between two vectors, be it for a specific item, be it for the specific user. So as mentioned here, you can see it calculates the similarity between user rating vectors or item rating vectors using the heuristic distance metric. And when it comes to model based methods, it is basically training a model with parameters to represent the user and items as a low dimensional vectors into the shared latent space. Basically, we are training a model to understand the interaction signal between the user and the item. Now the key challenges that comes up with a recommendation system in general as well as with collaborative filtering is the cold start problem. For example, if you have a Netflix movie recommendation system, if a user joins the Netflix subscription plan. Netflix will not have the details of what movies does the user like. So it goes through a problem called as cold start problem. And there is scalability problem here because there are millions of users, there are thousands of items to recommend, and there comes computing user pairs over millions of users, which becomes computationally intractable without pre-computation or approximate nearest neighbor. You have to ensure that you have pre-computed the interaction between users before itself instead of doing at the inference time. So this is with respect to scalability challenge in collaborative filtering. Now let us get into the tutorial. So where we'll be implementing a scalable matrix factorization collaborative filtering model on a real world data set like movie lens. So instead of calculating the matrix multiplication manually, so we'll be using PyTorch based framework to learn the interaction signal between the user and item embeddings on a low dimensional vector space via gradient descent. So let us get into the implementation. So first we need to import all the necessary packages here. So first we'll be importing URL lib.request through which we'll be downloading the data set. Then we have zip file for unzipping the data set that we downloaded. And then we have pandas and numpy for manipulating the data, torch for creating the neural network. And then we have dataset and data loader for transforming the data set from numpy or pandas into PyTorch tensor. And here we have train test split for splitting the dataset into train and test. So first we have the URL here, so through which we'll be downloading the dataset, and then we'll be extracting the dataset into a specific folder. So if I just go here, you will see that I have downloaded the dataset earlier and it has been unzipped and it is inside this specific folder. Now coming to the load ratings data, so these are the different features that are present inside the data set, and here we'll be reading it with the help of pandas. And this is the tab separator that we want to mention while reading the specific file. And these are the various columns which we have mentioned here. And we also have to remap the user and item IDs to the indices such as 0 to n-1. And here we identify the number of unique users and number of unique items. At the end, what we get is the dataset loaded contains 1 lakh ratings and it has 943 users and 1682 items. So let me run this here again. So this will load the dataset. So it has 1 lakh rating, 943 users, 1682 items, which is the number of movies. Now comes our data split. So here we take the data set which is DF, which we created here, and we split it into train DF and test DF, and the test DF will contain 20% of the records, and this is the random state we set, which is 42. Then we have a class here which will be used for transforming our data set into PyTorch tensor. So with the help of this class, we'll be creating our data loader here. So inside this data loader, we make the call to the specific class, and then we set the batch size as 256. So every iteration will be loading the data set at a batch of 256. Okay, and for training data loader, we'll be setting the shuffle as true, and it will be false for test loader. So let me run this as well. Now comes the matrix factorization. So this is where our algorithm is described. So what we do is, so we'll be creating a user item matrix which is R, which will be a sparse matrix. So we want to decompose that with the help of matrix factorization into two lower rank matrices. One matrix will represent the user, the other matrix will represent the items, and where the dimension k will be less than min of m comma n. So at the end, to predict the rating, what we do is we perform the dot product between p and q, and we'll get the rating for a specific item. So this is how a sparse matrix will look like, where we have users and these are the movies, and here the user will not have interaction with all the movies, only few set of interactions will be present. So there will be 3. So this is the rating based feedback given by the user to the movie. Now comes the implementation of matrix factorization. So here first we create a class called matrix factorization. Then we have our constructor, which is the init method. Inside this, we take the unique number of users and the unique items that are present. And then we have the dimension, which is the embedding dimension, which is 32, which is the lower dimension on which we want to project our interaction signal. So here we have our user item latent embeddings. So here we create nn.Embeddings. First, for n users, we have embedding dimension. For n items, we have embedding dimension. So next comes the user and item biases. So basically, again, we want to project our number of users and number of items to 1. Then comes global rating average bias, which is also set as 1 here, number of zeros as 1. And then we have our initialization of the embeddings, which is a normal distribution. So we'll be initializing the weights as a normal distribution. Then comes the forward pass. So here, this is where we'll be performing the multiplication between user and item, and we'll be performing the summation at the end. So this will give us the dot product between P and Q. Then we have our U bias and I bias from the previous section here. So the user bias and item bias, that will be taken up here for a specific user and for a specific item. And finally, what we do is we sum all these together to get our final result. Global bias plus user bias plus item bias plus dot product between the user and item embedding. Once we have created our class here, let me run this. Now we have to initialize the model here. So first we make a call to Matrix Factorization class. First we mention the number of unique users we have. Then we mention the number of unique items that we have. What is the embedding dimension we want to project onto. Then we have the criterion, which is used for calculating the loss between the ground truth and the predicted value. And then we have our optimizer. Here we will be using Adam optimizer, through which we'll be updating the weights. So we'll have the learning rate of 0.005 and we have weight decay of 1 e power minus 5. And the loss is mean squared error loss here. Okay, so now once we have defined all this configuration, now we have to set the initialize global bias to mean rating. So this is how we'll be setting the bias here. So train df rating dot mean, that will be the global bias that we want to set. Now the key part starts. So we set the number of epochs as 10. So we'll be running through the data set 10 times, and here we'll be setting the model into training mode, and initially we'll be having the training loss of 0. And then we'll be picking out the user items and ratings, and then we have our optimizer.0 grad. So we'll be initializing our optimizer here with the 0 grad. Then we understand the user item interaction here and make predictions, and then we'll be performing the criterion, which basically means that we'll understand the loss and we'll performing the back propagation and update the parameters here, and we'll be calculating the loss here, or we'll be storing the loss here in a sense. And then comes our train RMSE, what is the loss based on the length of the data set, and we'll be calculating that here. And then comes our validation loop, where we'll be switching the model to the evaluation mode, and we'll be setting the test loss as 0, and we'll be setting with torch.noGrad, which means that we don't want to update the weights when we are running this section. So here again we move through the test loader, we extract the user items and ratings, we make the prediction, we calculate the loss, again we store the test loss as well, and we calculate the test RMSE, again based on the length of the testing data set. So this will give us the epoch, what is the training RMSE and test RMSE. So let me run this. So here we have trained for 10 epochs. First train RMSE was 1.3, and as we move towards 10th epoch, it moved towards 0.5. But if you look at the test RMSE, it is 1.0, and the test RMSE did not move even after 10 epochs. Okay, which basically means that it did not learn that much, which basically means that it did not perform that well on the testing data set. So here what we have to do is we have to load the item names for the human readable output. So what we do is we load u.item, and it is separated with this pipe symbol, and these are the item columns that we are interested in. which will show that we want to take the movie title for a specific item ID. And this is the use columns, and this is encoding as latent 1. So once we have created our movies df, then we have to go to our recommend movies function. Inside this, it will be taking the parameter user ID and what is the number of items that we want to recommend, which is top 5 items. And we want to move the model to evaluation mode, and then we get the raw index here, and we find out which is the movies the user has already watched and which are the movies he hasn't watched, based on which we'll be creating the user tensor and the item tensor. Once we get our user and item tensor, we want to predict based on the user ID what are the different ratings that user will be giving to all the unwatched items. So which will be done here. So for this, we have to make use of this line such that we don't update the weights. And then comes our top n indices. So basically what we'll understand here is we'll be seeing which are the unwatched items which will be highly rated by the user. So here we'll be understanding what are the unwatched items that are present in our data set which will be highly rated by the user. So we get all those items and their corresponding score, which will be the rating. And then comes our print statement where we say that, so for this specific item, what will be the predicted rating by the user. So let me call the specific function here, which is recommend movies, and for the user ID 7 and top n as 5. So let us make a call to the recommend movie function where we'll be passing the user ID as 7 and top n as 5. So let me run this. So here if you see, these are the 5 recommended movies for the user 7. So if I go to this specific cell, you will see that I'll be seeing all the details for the specific user, which is user ID 7, and based on its rating we'll sort and we'll see what are the movies he has already watched. So we'll compare this with the movies that he has already watched. So let me take out the details here, watched movies index, and let us iterate through that. So he has already watched Star Trek, and then Sting, Forbidden Planet, Princess Bride, Sound of Music, Star Trek, and Magnificent Seven. So he has been recommended all these different movies, which has some relevancy when it comes to the kind of genre he likes. So let me add some other, let me check for another user here. Let me type in 8, get the recommendation here, Manchurian Candidate, Buddhas, Local Hero, Bonnie and Clyde. Okay, these are pretty good movies. So this does have some kind of decent recommendation based on what he has already watched. This is a pretty good recommendation. So what we have done is basically we created our model here, which is based on matrix factorization, and we trained the model on a movie lens data set, and we are able to make the prediction using collaborative filtering. So with that, I'll be concluding this video. We'll be seeing more about recommendation systems in the upcoming videos. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching.